Okay. So good morning, Prof. We can start now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. So good morning, Director, Yaba College of Technology, Dr. Engineer Ibrahim Abdul, our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Aderounmu, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academics, Obafemi Awolowo University. I want to welcome everyone to this hybrid workshop on mastering TETFund National Research Fund application process. And we all know that the call is out and the deadline is end of this month. And we know that the application process for NRF is usually daunting and it requires not only sound research ideas, but also the ability to present them in a way that meets rigorous funding criteria. And this is why today's session is vital. We want to bridge the gap between research potential and research funding success. And we are privileged to have with us an academic leader, a seasoned researcher, Professor Aderounmu, whose wealth of experience in research management and grant-winning strategies will guide us through the intricacies of the NRF applications. He's also a member of the monitoring team. And I believe that through the workshop, we aim to demystify the NRF application. He will take us through practical strategies for preparing for this competitive proposal by submitting a concept note first. And then he will also highlight common pitfalls and how to avoid them. And he will encourage more YABATECH researchers to apply and also win the NRF grants. Last year, we have about 5 of our researchers making it to the physical defense. No, this year, for the last cohort this year. So, and we are hoping that more people will apply this time and also win the grant eventually. I would like to sincerely thank our rector for his unwavering support of research and innovation in the college. And I also extend deep appreciation to our guest speaker for accepting to share his expertise with us, despite his very busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So to all participants, both on-site and online, your presence here shows your commitment to advancing research in your various fields. So I want to encourage all of us, let us listen attentively, let us take notes, let us ask questions. Prof is here, and engage fully with today's discussion. Let us be here not only inspired, but also empowered to prepare our concept notes that will not just compete, but we will win. Once again, I welcome you warmly and wish us a productive and impactful session. Thank you. So, Prof, I would like to hand over to you to start. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, the coordinator. Let me again thank you, the management of Yaba College of Technology, for giving me the opportunity to give this presentation this morning. And let me also apologize for changing the time from Wednesday to today, because I have been engaged in a lot of things. And actually, I want to be in Lagos physically to do the presentation, but because of the time and other activities on campus here, so I resorted to doing it online. And I will still be available for questioning anytime, any day, at any point in time. So again, I want to thank the rector of the school for organizing this very important workshop. Let me also say that I've been in the committee for 14 years. We started it in 2010, and I think I stepped down last year, that's 2024. So I've spent about 14 years coordinating a member of the coordinating team of that NRF research grant until last year that I stepped down. So what I want to do today is to share my experiences with respect to the concept note, and also if your concept note scale through, what are those things? So that's exactly what we want to really discuss this morning. And I want to say that I'm available at any point in time to really give you more information and also advice, and also able to assist you to review some of the proposals that we are trying to submit to TETFund. So for this presentation this morning, we are going to look at preamble, and then we discuss the general introduction. Then I try to analyze some of the criteria for a good funding proposal. And then we look at funding research in Nigeria with focus on TETFund National Research Fund, because this is the focus of this presentation. And then briefly, we can see the power of grants, and then you see exactly what we're also doing at Obafemi Awolowo University with respect to attracting a lot of grants. Now, under the preamble, I want to say that research grant is not primarily a means of supplementary income, but your research output may enhance your value and hence increase your income. There are three critical proposal funding skills. The first is salesmanship. The second is grantmanship. And the third one is showmanship. Criteria for a good funding proposal. Then we look at funding research in Nigeria with focus on the TETFund National Research Fund. And then briefly we discuss power of grants. I mean, when you have grants, what do you think you can benefit from having grants? And then we can conclude this presentation. So I'm saying that research grant is not primarily a means of supplementary income. So you need to note that is not primarily a means of supplementary income, but your research output may enhance your value and hence increase your income. So that's what we are trying to say. Now, there are three critical proposal funding skills. The first one is salesmanship. The second one is grantmanship. And the third one is showmanship. For the salesmanship, what we are trying to do is to sell your idea, selling the idea. And then the showmanship is to showing the result. So these three critical skills, you must develop these three critical skills. You want to have a very solid grant with you. Sell your idea, you get money to support that idea, and then you have the skill, ability to show your results. If you have these three skills, I'm sure that you won't have any problem when you apply for TETFund research grants. So for salesmanship, this is what we are looking at: qualities of good ideas. Number one is to advance knowledge that is novel. It must be appropriate. It must be appealing, that is attractive. It must be achievable. And then it must be actionable. You know, all these ones are some of the things that TETFund normally look at when you develop your proposal. Is it going to advance knowledge? Is it appropriate for what they are looking for? Is it attractive? Is it realistic? And how applicable is this your proposal? So that is the area of salesmanship. Then when we talk of grantmanship now, we are now writing proposal for grants in an efficient way to raise funds. And a strong proposal that is a well-written, well-organized proposal can bring in substantial income for organizations to undertake a project. If you have a lot of funding, you can have a lot of things going on in your institutions without even recourse to your rector or to any other person in that institutions. And a well-prepared proposal can also build an organization's credibility with funders. For example, based on our own experience in terms of proposal writing, we've won a lot of grants from World Bank. So at any point in time now, when we apply to World Bank, it's always very easy for us to get that grant because of the reputation we built in terms of credibility in spending our funding. So this is always very important. So that is grantmanship. The third aspect is showmanship. One thing is for you to have your idea. Another thing is for you to have the fund to support that idea. But another area that you need to look at is how do you disseminate that information, the result of your idea, to the whole world, national and then to international communities. So your showmanship refers to the ability to present or show the result of output of your project in an effective manner. And this is done through a number of channels, including, yes, including reports, publications, monographs, media, stakeholders meetings, conferences. So, but before you do that, your results must be very neat, must be very clear, and in terms of time, must be timeliness, innovation must be there, and I've already listed it all channels of reporting. For example, when you are writing the full proposal, there is one aspect of it that's also asking you to mention the different disseminations ways of disseminating your results to the community or to the stakeholders. So these are some of the things you need to do, maybe reports through publications, through media, stakeholders meetings, conferences, workshops, and so on and so forth. We are still going to discuss more of this later. Now, this is general introduction. I'm just giving you this background information before I go on to the NRF per se, because if any proposal you are writing, you need to have the fundamentals, be it NRF, be it general background, and that's why I'm taking my time to give you the general background. Then another few minutes now we move on to NRF. Now the basic problem, a proposal is a promise to do something that does not yet exist. And this is risk of losing money on the part of the sponsor. You all agree with me, when you apply to TETFund and the TETFund give you 50 million or 40 million or 35 million to carry out your research, TETFund is not expecting you to return the money. Okay, so but it's a risk of losing money on the part of the sponsor, because once the money is given to you, the expectation is that you must produce the result. But if the result is not produced, they won't ask you to go and return the fund. So it's a risk of losing money on the part of the sponsor. And your research is often limited by resources available. So one thing you need to know is that if you are knowledgeable of the funding opportunities and proposal development, this may facilitate the production of more elaborate research by graduate students in particular and faculty in general. For example, now you have a lot of people that are knowledgeable in funding opportunities, but they don't know how to develop the proposal. So that's a problem. You have some colleagues that can write very good proposals, but they don't have knowledge of where the funding is coming from. So what we are saying now is, as a good researcher, you must have a knowledge of where the funding is coming from, and also the ability to write a very solid proposal that will attract this funding. So if you're able to combine these two together, I'm sure that you can expand your research, and then you can mentor a lot of other students and faculty in general. And support does not require to repay the money made available in the funding plan. So when you finish your research now, you are not supposed to return the money back to the funder. The money is being used for you to solve the problem, but the funder is not expecting you to get to return the money. And that is why we are also emphasizing that as a researcher in any higher institutions, the best thing is for you to start looking for a lot of grants that can be used to solve a lot of problems. And then through that, you can mentor a lot of younger generations, and then you can develop a lot of innovative products that can be commercialized. And then you can generate more funding to support what you are doing on campus, rather than depending solely on the management of your institutions, or you are depending on the government of the day. So we are not looking at understanding donor. I'm saying that before you do anything in terms of writing proposal, even for TETFund, number one thing you need to do is to understand TETFund, the donor, who funds and support research. And then you need to find out why do foundation support studies or research. And then you need to also find how they work. And the basic attitude is, how can you help them? They are not really helping you, it's you. How can you help them? Because I remember when we started this TETFund, the NRF in 2010, 2011, the federal government of Nigeria approved about 3 billion naira for the research. Do you know that for like 2-3 years, we couldn't see anybody to apply for that NRF, because people believe that it's not true. So the government of the day then was, now we're giving you money to do research, and nobody is coming to to get the money. So they wanted to even move the money to do some other things until when we now try to advise some of our colleagues to really apply it. You know, so the basic attitude is how you can help them spend the money and not how they can help you. And then what you need to also do is, what have they funded in the past? You can go to their website. You can ask your colleagues, what have they funded in the past? Okay, so that one will give you an idea of whether what you want to write on is going to be approved or not. Then, if possible, you review membership of the panel, if possible. Okay, so you may review membership of the panel, and then if you are able to get any of them, you can discuss with them. For example, now I've been a member of that panel for more than 14 years. So nothing stops you from interacting with me to give you information with respect to what they are looking for. Then you talk to previous or current members if possible, and that is what exactly we are trying to do now. You try to talk to members of the committee. They can give you more information. They are colleagues like you that can give you more information with regard to what is happening. Then you can also talk to agency staff assigned to that committee. You have a lot of staff of TETFund attached to this committee. You can also talk to them to ask for questions and so on and so forth from them. Now, one more important thing that you need to do is you read the advice covered by your funding agency. For example, now we are looking at TETFund now. When you go to TETFund website, there is already a guideline that give information with respect to what they are going to support. So you need to have somebody that is giving you a lecture for the next 3 or 4 days. He cannot give you detailed information with respect to what they are looking for. So what you need to do now is take your time, read the TETFund guideline so that you can know exactly what you need to write on. Then another thing you need to know is you have to clarify the concept and ideas. And what I need to tell people is you think big, avoid tunnel vision, and do not rush. Now you started very on a good note, because now they're asking you to submit a concept note, and then you have your time to really do it now. Unlike our colleagues, something is closing in 2 days' time, and then they said they want to put something together within 2 days. It will not fly at all. Except if you have that idea before, you are just trying to revise it and submit. So the vital facts to bear in mind. Please note this. Write a proposal for the benefit of experts and non-experts. For example, the concept note you are going to submit. By the time your concept note is submitted, you have a lot of people, researchers, senior colleagues that will review that your concept note. And the concept note is just a summary of a full proposal. You may be lucky they may give one to somebody that is not an expert in that field, but is very fast in research. And the second one may be given to an expert. So you must make sure that when you develop your proposal, you develop it for expert and non-expert, so that by the time they are reading it, even if it's not an expert in that field, when he's trying to read it, he or she knows that this proposal is okay or not, or the concept note is okay or not. So for example, now I review a lot of proposals that are not in my area because of my own experience, and there are a lot of things you look at in a proposal. So you write in such a way that even if a non-expert read through that proposal, then he can also give you more information with respect to whether the proposal is viable or not. For example, in our institution here, when we develop our proposal, we give it to some of our senior colleagues, even in faculty of clinical sciences, health sciences, to use their own experience to look at what we are writing, and then they will advise us. So please, when you are writing it, bear in mind that it's for expert and non-expert. And based on the fact, I want you to consider these 2 golden rules. Number 1, you ask a lot of people to help you to improve your proposal. Don't say that somebody wants to steal your idea. No. Let other people read your proposal, and then they will contribute and tell you, look, this one is missing, you have to add this, you have to add that. Number 1. Then the first page of your proposal acts as a standalone summary of the entire proposal. That is like your abstract. The moment your executive summary is not well written, I mean, a reviewer may decide not to even go further to look at your full proposal. So that executive summary is very, very key. It's like the abstract of your thesis that contains a summary of it. Like you've written a proposal of about maybe 15 pages, and then we are now asking you to summarize that 15 pages in just one page. So if that one page doesn't capture the core of your proposal, that is why that first page is very, very key. That first page is like marketing yourself to the reviewers. So this is very key. So those two golden rules are very, very important. So let's move forward. Criteria for a good grant proposal. I identified some major criteria and also secondary criteria. So for the major criteria, you have to read through your case for support repeatedly and ask whether the answer to the questions below are clear, even to a non-expert. So I've identified experts normally look at, even including TETFund reviewers. Does your proposal address a well-formulated problem? Because you are trying to solve a problem. Is it a research problem or just a routine application of known techniques? Is it an important problem whose solution will have useful effects? Is special funding necessary to solve this problem? So if you don't need special funding, they may just reject it. For example, you see our colleagues, they are writing a proposal that can be solved using just 2 million naira, and then they will be requesting for 50 million. Because somebody that is using your proposal is an expert in that field. So he or she knows everything about the field you are talking about. So when you now bring a proposal of 4 million, and then you are requesting for about 50 million from that fund, in fact, they won't even read it further. They just disqualify you straight away because they know that you can do this under your idea under TETFund. Do the proposal explain clearly what the work will be done? Is there any evidence of related work? That's your original review. Do the investigator have good track record of doing good research and publishing it? So if you look at the 2 or 3 grants that you've already attracted, or your group have attracted. So this one will also give them an insight that, okay, you have a lot of experiences in terms of writing very good grant proposal. Yes. Okay. So I've also listed some secondary criteria, but the most important one is that primary criteria that I discussed. But these are just minor criteria. For example, if you have about 10 proposals and they want to consider about 7, and all those 7s are okay, so they can use some of these secondary criteria to drop few of them and then approve few of them. So I've listed all these secondary criteria. You can also go through this one because I'm going to leave this slide with you. One of it is cost effectiveness. Funder tries to ensure his or her budget is to be used in a cost-effective manner. For example, if you have 2 proposals approved now, but the funding is to support 1, they just look at your budget. You can say, okay, this proposal is very good, but in terms of cost effectiveness, it's not okay. So they drop it. So that is secondary criteria. Okay. So those 2 proposals are very good. However, in terms of cost effectiveness, this one is not good. So because they don't have enough money to take care of the 2, so they want to look at some of these secondary criteria to drop one out of the 2. And one of it is the cost effectiveness. And then the other one is evidence of industrial interest in the proposal and of the potential for future exploitation. Now, that one is also emphasizing that when you are writing your proposals now, you need to also collaborate with other stakeholders. For example, your partners in the industry. Okay. In fact, the idea is that you should be able to work with people in the industry or in other areas to collaborate and come up with innovative solutions. So at the end of the day, you can have a product that you can commercialize, and then from there you can get a lot of other funding to expand exactly what we are trying to do. So these are some of the things that they need to look at in the area of secondary criteria. Okay, maintain stable balance between different research areas where this is possible. And then an applicant with little existing funding may deserve to be placed ahead of a well-funded one. On the other hand, existing funding provides evidence of good track record. So these are some of the criteria they use in terms of secondary criteria to drop a proposal if those proposals are very good, but the funding to support will not be enough to support all these proposals. Now, I've listed a lot of common shortcomings. So when you write your proposal, look at all these are the shortcomings we identify, even under TETFund. Not clear what question is being addressed by the proposal. The question being addressed is only or if formed. Not clear why question is worth addressing. No evidence that proposal will succeed where others have failed. A new idea is claimed, but insufficient technical details of the idea are given. And then the proposal is badly written, too expensive for the portable game, too many references, too fake references, poorly placed references, incorrect or weak references. These are some of the shortcomings that you normally identify when you write your own, when you are trying to review a proposal. So when you develop your proposal, look at all these ones, whether they are part, whether you have one or two of these as part of your shortcomings, so that you can address them before you submit your proposal. Now, usual pitfalls. I just identified about 5 of them. When you fail to match your goals with the foundation, is a problem.
Sorry, Prof. The slides are not moving again. Maybe you share.
The slides are not moving again.
Yes, it's just starting. It's still on criteria for a good grant proposal.
May have moved, but it's moving here. So what is the question?
Yes, but we are following your.
Is it network problem or what?
Okay.
It's on slide share now.
On slide share, okay.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yes.
Usual pitfall now.
Usual pitfall.
Usual pitfall, yes.
Yes.
Sorry for, I think it's network issue because
Put it on slide share. Slide share.
It's on slide share.
It's on slide share.
Slide share, yeah.
Please, sir, can you continue?
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir, you can continue, sir.
So I'm saying, so under usual pitfalls now. So now what I did here was just to identify 5.
You stop sharing.
Are we there?
Yes, sir. Usual pitfall.
Yes.
All right. Good.
So I identified 5 key points there. Number 1, you failure to match your goals with the foundation. That's number 1. So you will have studied the TETFund guideline. If you fail to match your own goal with what they are requesting for, automatically they will reject your proposal. Too many complex details and past achievement. This is also very, very important. Don't let it be too complex. And then past achievement. Even if you are trying to summarize your past achievement, be very careful. Because by the time you talk too much on your past achievement, they may even say, I don't need this money again now. Let's give it to somebody that has not achieved anything. So past achievement is very okay, but at least you have to be very careful. So too many complex details and past achievement is also key. Past achievement create credibility, but limit this. Then there is what we call procedural irregularities. The procedures that you want to use to achieve most of these things, they are not regular. You know, people reading your proposal are not just anybody. These are experts in your field. So you must ensure that you use correct procedures to achieve those set of objectives that are defined. They're promising too much. That is too ambitious. Unrealistically much is promised. You are promising something that I know in the next 2 years you cannot achieve. So they will just throw out your proposal straight away, you know. So that's it. Now, element of the proposals. Normally, a standard proposal must contain all this information that I displayed. Can you see it? Yes. Can you see the next slide now?
Yes, we can see the next slide now. We can
Elements of
see elements of the proposal.
Yes, yes. So I'm saying that irrespective of the proposals you are writing, be it TETFund, be it any other submitting to any other funding agency, these are all the things that you need to consider. Your curriculum vitae, they want to know who is submitting that proposal. Statement of need, why are you submitting it? Objectives, that is what? Procedure, how and when do you want to achieve this? Time frame, when? Evaluation, judging the performance, the budget, how much will it cost? Then narrative, future funding in terms of sustainability, multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary. In fact, TETFund is also emphasizing this now. When you are now writing your proposal, you must consider multidisciplinary team and not just a solo team. For example, you are developing an application in computer science. You can collaborate with somebody in art or maybe in sciences or whatever to come up with a robust and innovative solution. So because TETFund is looking for a solution that is innovative, that will impact the society. That's exactly what TETFund is trying to do for. So once your research solution is not going to be innovative, it's not going to impact the society, they will not fund your research. And that is why so many of these research fails when they are submitted and reviewed. So dissemination plan is also very key. You know, I mentioned it in my first presentation, the first two slides. How do you want to disseminate the result of your research to the entire world? Now, this is an example of a research team of the future. So when you develop your proposal, consider that your research team is a multidisciplinary research team, a team that comprises researchers from different disciplines and not your own discipline alone, because TETFund is looking for innovative products. For example, we got a grant from TETFund where we are developing a robot that can check the temperature of people, that can do social interactions and so on and so forth. So by the time we want to develop this, we have to contact our colleagues from the sciences. We contacted some people from social sciences because they have to contribute. We have some of our researchers from mathematics department because it involves a lot of modeling and simulations. So we form a multidisciplinary team. So if you want to write a very solid proposal, you want to solve a very innovative idea, you need a multidisciplinary research team. And this is an example of research team of the future. So when you write your proposal for TETFund, consider a multidisciplinary team and not just a solo team. Okay, so I'm just giving you this as an example. You can see this is an example of a multidisciplinary research team, development of a simple affordable polymerase chain reaction technique. So this funded research under COVID-19 involved 10 co-researchers from different universities, different disciplines. That is what we call multidisciplinary research or interdisciplinary research. So when you want to develop your own proposal, to consider having teams from other different disciplines that will be able to contribute to your research proposal. Now I probably want to discuss this value of debt. Yeah. Can you see my screen? Yes. Hello? Yes. Are we together?
Yes, sir, I can see it.
Yes, we can see, Prof.
So you can see this
We
value of
can
debt.
see it, sir.
And you can see the value of debt. You can see it. You have the local researcher and then you have the local industry. So there is a gap between the local researcher and the local industry. And what TETFund is now emphasizing is that whatever problem you are trying to solve, you bring in a lot of stakeholders, so that by the time you have your product, the product will not stay your TC. That research you done will not stay in your shelf. You have a lot of research output that cannot go to the market now. So TETFund is also emphasizing this, that how do we bridge this gap between academia, and the industry. And that is why we are saying future funding is partnership, patent and commercialization to solve the value of debt now. Now the academia is one side, the industry is the other side, the stakeholder is the other side. So, and that is why most of our products, most of our research are not being recognized by the stakeholder, because by the time you develop your proposal, you don't carry along the stakeholders. And once they don't know what they are doing, by the time the product is ready, they will not be interested in working with you. So what we are trying to do in our own research group now is, whatever problem we are trying to solve now, we carry all the stakeholders, so that when we have the product now, they are the ones to go and take it to the market, to commercialize it, and then get more funding to support some of our research work. So TETFund is also emphasizing partnership. So there is one section I will show you under the TETFund, the scoring, partnership. There is a score for that. How do you build your team? So they will look at your team. You say multidisciplinary, do you have partnership, do you have this, do you have that? You have a score for that. And that's where, even if you are write a very good proposal, and then your team is not solid, probability of getting it may not be, is not high. So please, you need to take note of that. So now I just giving you some tips when you are writing your proposal and when you are submitting. During writing, what do you need to consider? You know, you have to sit down and write the concept notes, you have to sit down and write the proposal. And that's why I'm giving you all these tips now. When you are writing, what do you need to consider? Look at the research with a broad and narrow view. Ask how your results will be used by others, and be your own critics. Make a list, timeline, build backwards, and then you accomplish some easy tasks early. But when you are writing it, when you sit down and you are writing it, these are all the facts that you have to follow. I've listed them here. Then maybe when we finish this presentation, you can get my document and then you go through it again and see. So when you are writing it, what are the things you need to consider? Get thought down first, then craft perfect sentences later. Write daily and make sure the big picture is obvious. So if you want to write a very good proposal and submit to TETFund, number one, it's not that you just pick up today, you write it and submit tomorrow. No, you have to take your time. You get your thoughts down first, and then you craft perfect sentences later. And then you write it daily. You can even write 1 or 2 pages in a day or 2. Then by the time you are fresh again, you go back and you continue. But you are saying you want to write it within just 3 or 4 days and you submit. Honestly, you won't get it. Don't overlook the background. Acknowledge controversial areas. Keep your language very simple. Don't write like you speak. You know, you have a lot of people, they can speak very fluently, but by the time they want to write it, it's a problem. You can see some people can write very well, but to speak is another problem. So don't write like you speak. Transition between paragraphs and sections is very important. So let it flow. Okay, from broad to from general to specific, down to the problem you are trying to solve. So you consider all these things when you are writing your proposal. So attention to detail, very, very key. You forgetting details like you didn't page your proposal. You have to convince your reviewer that this is really important work. There will be significant return on investment. You have the team together to get it done. You are professional, you are realistic, and you can get it done before someone else does it. So all these ones are some of the things you need to consider when you are writing and when you are submitting to either TETFund or any funding agency at all. So this slide is giving us the overall consideration of writing and submission. So I don't need to go through this one. It's just like a summary of what I've been discussing in terms of writing and submission. So you can go through this one later. Now, in terms of administrative components, so you should know what you want and you should know what your funder wants. Then you evaluate, critique, and assess other proposals. Now, if I'm your shoe, now what I will do is I can liaise with people that have gotten that TETFund grant in your campus. You can interact with them so that they can share their own experiences, also to support your course. complete administrative tasks. You will read guidelines, get information on budgets and letter of support. Now, by the time you are submitting this document to TETFund, your rector must sign. There is a page that your rector have to sign. If your rector didn't sign it, honestly, your proposal will be rejected because you are not the owner of that proposal. The proposal belongs to your institution. You are just the PI. So even if you move from YABATECH to another school, you cannot move. You cannot take that project away. The project belongs to your school. So, and that is why your rector have to sign to say that yes, we are in support of this proposal. Identify session event for the proposal, develop a consider framework, consider contacting the foundation if there are problems. So if you have any problem, you can even call straight away TETFund to say, please, this thing is not clear to us. Can you give us more information with respect to that? And they are ready to give it to you. Now, NRF, objectives for NRF are identified 4 areas where NRF is focusing. They are supporting and promoting problem-solving research in priority areas of national development. That's the National Research Foundation of TETFund. They are supporting and promoting problem-solving research in priority areas of national development, and also enhance research leadership and competency in tertiary institutions. They also promote collaborative R&D across the life of technology and encourage basic research geared towards strengthening the applied science of interest to Nigeria's economy. So these are the 4 areas of the objectives of NRF. Now, if you go to the TETFund website, they identify 3 intervention areas of the National Research Foundation. The first one is humanities and social sciences. The second one is science, technology, engineering, and innovation. And the third one is cross-cutting. So these are the 3 thematic areas. The other time, there are 3 thematic areas: humanities and social sciences, sciences, technology, and innovation, and then cross-cutting. These are the 3 different areas that you can apply. And under each of these areas now, you have the thematic area, the topics. For example, under the humanities and social sciences, there are 11 different topics that you can work on. So it depends on your area of specialization, determines which of these areas. Then if you go to the website of TETFund, each of these thematic areas, they've already, they've given information with respect to what they are looking for. So if you deviate from what they are looking for, your proposal will not go in. And that's why I'm saying that you take your time to read the guideline, and then especially your area that you want to really write your proposal or your concept note. So you must be very, very careful. And that's why I'm saying take your time to read the guideline before you sit down and say you want to write anything at all. Because if you now write something and it's out of what they are requesting for, they will just reject your proposal straight away. Now for cross-cutting, you can see it, cross-cutting, another thematic area. There are about 6 different areas here. We have the blue economy, clean and valuable energy, environment, urban and regional planning, entrepreneurship and wealth creation, resource governance, science, technology, and innovation management. Let me emphasize on this because I was the chairman of this cross-cutting subcommittee for a number of years. You see our colleagues, we write a lot of proposals on entrepreneurship and wealth creation. And then what they'll be telling us, requesting for like 40 million is just for training. No, when we talk of entrepreneurship and wealth creation in this area, we are looking at research that can bring up a product that will lead to entrepreneurship and also to lead to wealth creation. That is what they are talking about. Not that you want to set up a training center where you'll be training some students on how to do A, B, C, D, and then no. We are looking at a research that can lead to products, commercialization, entrepreneurship, and wealth creation. So when you are writing under this topic, please, you have to be very careful because some of our people just say they want to write, they are requesting for 45 million to set up a training center where they will be training students in the area of no. We are looking at a product. For example, now we develop a product from OAU now, and then we have that product. Immediately we develop the product, we register a company for those students that develop the product. Now they are now entrepreneurs. They are now employing their colleagues as staff in that company. The product is going to the market, money is coming back, and so on and so forth. So that's exactly what they are talking about. Resource governance, science, technology, and innovation management. So if this is your area, then you go to the TETFund website, look at the content of each of these topics. Blue economy, they define everything they are looking for. So if you write anything out of that, out of what they are requesting for, your proposal will just be rejected. So the same thing with the third one, which is setting. There are about 11 thematic areas under the 32 that you need to also work on. So this is for science, engineering, technology, and innovation. So as I said the other time too, you go to the website there, they've already defined what they are looking for under each of these topics. Another information you need to know is that the sustainable development goals, each of these topics revolve around a particular development, sustainable development goal. So when you are writing it, tie your topic to a particular sustainable development goal from 1 to 17. So pick your topic, then look at the sustainable development goal and look at the problem they are emphasizing to solve. And then you tailor your research proposal towards those problems that you are requesting for. And once you're able to do that, I'm sure that your proposal is going to really see the light of the day. Now, for the NRF management, you can see this small diagram. There are about 4 circles there. We have the Board of Trustees of TETFund. I'm just giving you the procedure. We have the NRF Board of Trustees. You have the Screening and Monitoring Committee. The Screening and Monitoring Subcommittee is a subcommittee of the NRF subcommittee to BOT. Okay, and what the SMC will do is to screen your proposal, review it, invite you to Abuja to defend, and once you scale through, they recommend your proposal to Board of Trustees, and the Board of Trustees will approve it, and then they will release a letter for you to come and take your money to start your proposal. So the committee that is doing that is the Screening and Monitoring Subcommittee of the NRF Subcommittee to BOT. So the BOT approve policy and grants, the NRF Subcommittee of BOT supervises NRF, and the Screening and Monitoring Subcommittee screen and evaluate NRF proposals using peer review like. I belong to this SMC for more than 14 years, as I said, since 2010 up to 2024. We are the one that developed the policy up till last year that they are using to screen all proposals since 14 years ago. So we belong to this committee, and this committee is the one handling everything from your concept notes. You submit your concept notes online, then they give it to reviewers to review, and once you are able to score above a particular mark, you will be invited to submit a full proposal. And then once you are able to also scale that order, they invite you to Abuja to come and defend it. The reason why they are doing that is they want to put face to the owner of the proposal, because we realize in the past that some of our colleagues, they ask some people to develop their proposal for them, but by the time you ask them to come and defend it, they know nothing about that proposal. And we discovered that some of them just take money without doing anything. And so that's why we are saying, let's put the face to the owner of the proposal. So once you are able to defend it in Abuja and you are successful, the next thing is for you to get your letter, and then they release the first tranche of the proposal, and then you continue. Are we okay? Are we okay?
Yes,
Okay.
Prof.
Okay. So I'm giving you this. This is just the circle. Yeah, I'm giving these 5 points to you. You can see the circle of how it goes. The NRF, we call for proposal or concept note. Then you as a researcher, we submit. When you submit it, the Screening and Monitoring Committee, we have a committee that we look into, we review it based on some criteria. And then once you are able to do that, if you score above the threshold, they will invite you to submit a full proposal. And everything is online now. In those days, you have to submit physical, manual, the hard copy of the proposal in Abuja. But you see a lot of university carrying government must go to Abuja to submit proposal. But nowadays, now you go online as a PI, the principal investigator, you register yourself as a PI, and then from there you can submit your concept note, and then you have a dashboard to monitor everything that is happening to your concept note and your full proposal. So this is just the circle of how it goes from the advanced stage to when your proposal is shortlisted for final defense in Abuja and getting your letter of approval. So you can take time to also look at this procedure here, from submission of proposals to preliminary screening, all down to award by the Board of Trustees of TETFund. Now, how to assess the NRF? So this is just the way to assess it. Every lecturer in tertiary education in Nigeria is eligible, and I want to say that up till about 2 years ago, one of the major criteria is that you must be a senior lecturer and above, or you must be a chief lecturer or principal lecturer from the Polytechnic or from College of Education. But maybe 2 years ago, they said everybody should apply. Once you are a lecturer, even if you are a graduate, apply. But when people applied, that was when we saw the worst of proposals. So what we need to do now is the new advert that is out now. Check what is the condition. Who are those that are qualified to apply? Because every year they change the criteria. So, but initially it was senior lecturer and above, or a chief lecturer and principal lecturer from Polytechnic or from College of Education and so on and so forth. Now, for this year now, whatever the advert says is what we are going to follow. If the advert says senior lecturer and above, or maybe every lecturer. So, but I will advise, because most of these junior ones now, they are just coming up, they don't know much about writing this proposal. So the best thing is for you to have at least a principal lecturer to be the PI, to lead other junior ones, because that is what we call mentorship. In different, that's what we do. Even if you have a lecturer 1 or a lecturer 2 that is also very smart and good, that does not mean that the experience is there for him to lead that research. So you look for a senior colleague in your own research area that can work together to be the PI, and others will join. So number 2, multidisciplinary research projects comprising of researchers from various disciplines are encouraged. So you can see this now. I've already mentioned this one before. They are looking for multidisciplinary research projects. So please, anything you are writing on, let it be multidisciplinary, because they are looking for innovative products. And for you to come up with innovative products, you need multidisciplinary research. Research people from different areas to put in the idea. So don't say that you just want to stay in one corner and then you develop something and then you submit it. It won't fly. Let it be multidisciplinary. The lead researcher is called the PI, as you all know, and the PI must be, well, I've already explained this one, so I don't know. Please check the adverts for this year. I've not seen the advert for this year. Check who is supposed to be the PI, the qualification of the PI. If they are saying senior lecturer and above, please abide with it. They are saying any lecturer, please abide with it. But the PI must be a staff of recognized public higher education institutions. For example, YABATECH is a recognized public higher education institution in Nigeria. So all staff to be the PI. So please take note of this, very important. And then I gave responsibility of the PI. What are the roles of the PI? The roles to be performed by PI as listed. I don't need to go through this once again. It's something that you can read itself. Then this is the format of the concept note. As I said, initially we don't even ask people to submit concept notes. What we normally ask them to do is submit your full proposals. and then we evaluate and then shortlist those that are qualified. But we discovered that a lot of proposals being submitted doesn't even worth coming in. And that's why we now have to change it from say, okay, before you submit your full proposal, let's see your concept note. The concept note is just like a summary of a full proposal. So, and I used to tell people, when they ask you to submit a concept note, they give you maybe about 1 month, maybe 1 month or maybe 5 or 6 weeks. But by the time you are submitting your proposal, they won't give more than 3 or 4 weeks. Because the assumption is that your concept note is like the summary of a full proposal. So the idea is that maybe you have a full proposal somewhere and they ask you to submit a concept note. Then what you just need to do is summarize that proposal to become your concept note. So the concept note that I'm talking about here, you have the title of the proposed research, the thematic area must be there, background to the research must be there, statement of the problem must be there, objectives of the research must be there, research question, feature review, theoretical framework, research methodology, expected results. The innovation, that's another area. Innovation, how different it is from other earlier projects. That's the innovation. Because if you are now repeating what people have done before, they won't give you money. They will just throw your project away. Total estimated budget comprising estimated personnel, equipment, data collection, analysis, consumable, and so on and so forth. References, no more than 5. They normally emphasize it. When you are writing your full proposal, you can put in as many references as possible. But for the concept notes, just the key ones, maximum 5. Then you have to mention the research team. You know, I mentioned it. Your research team, the name, the rank, highest qualifications, and areas of specialization. On the final note, the concept note should not be more than 1,500 words. Please take note of this. Maximum. If your concept note, one of the reasons why your concept note is being disqualified is that you see some people will come with 1,700 words. It's automatic disqualification. Because the system they are using, once they print it out, it will show on the top of your concept note to say one number of words, 1,700. In fact, once we see that, I don't need to even waste my time again. I just disqualify it straight away. So, and that is why when you are writing your concept note, make sure that it's not more than 1,500 words. Even if it's 1,501, they will disqualify you for your information. And that's why you see a lot of that. We submitted concept note to, they disqualify us, or they didn't, your concept note didn't scale through. This is what we call preliminary screening. Okay, so once you submit your concept note and it's about 1,500 words, is automatic disqualification, except they are going to change that policy today. I don't know. But as at last year, the maximum is 1,500 words. Just a summary of your full proposal. Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
communicating? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so the next slide is showing us guidelines to concept note preparation. So I'm just trying to summarize what we normally look for. For example, now the title of the project should normally not be more than 20 words. And the title should reflect the content. You know, immediately I look at the title of a particular research, I know whether this thing is okay or not. So number one is, you know, because I will show you the scoring criteria too that we use. Well, I don't know what's going to happen this year. You know, every that they review the criteria and the marking scheme and so on and so forth. But I will share with you the marking scheme for the concept note used right from when we started the concept note down to last year. I'll share it with you. The title carries some marks. So if the title of your concept note is more than 20 words, they will mark you down. So and that's how you say, but this proposal is very good, though, this and that. But there are little things that you don't take note of. And that one will reduce your mark. Project background, details on the project, including the definition of research problems, as well as the specification for the content of the research, with respect to developmental needs as articulated under the thematic areas of the project. That's exactly what we want to see under the project background. Statement of the problem and research question is also, I've already indicated that too. the objectives of the research project, future review. These are all things, everything we are looking for. I've already summarized it under each of these sections. Then potential for scientific tools, because innovation, startups, spin-off, commercialization, a clear statement of what will be the new, what will be the new product through this the implementation of this research. I mentioned something to you, and that is why in my own research group now, any proposal I'm writing now, the focus is more on scientific breakthroughs that will lead to either startup or spin-off companies, and this will lead to commercialization, and which will lead to indirectly to generating another funding to support my research, to support my laboratory, and also to even support the institution. So, and that is why TETFund is also emphasizing that, because by the time you finish this project now, will you be able to sustain it beyond the 50 million they are giving to you? So if yes, this is what you need to do. If you want to sustain that project, now we are making us about a lot of innovation coming out of Israel in terms of our center of excellence. We started from a small room with 2.5 million naira. And then we build in a lot of sustainability. From there, we move on to a grant of $100,000. From there, we move on to 5.5. From there, we move on to 7 million. So we expand every day and we build in a lot of sustainability. So if we come to our own environment here now, all my projects I'm doing with my research group, they have sustainability models. That is, once the fund is not available again, I can still continue to sustain that project. So, and that is why this aspect is also very clear, very key when you write your proposal. Please think of how you can also generate a lot of innovative ideas, products from this, which will lead to commercialization of your research, and this will bring me more funding to your group. And then, so if you want to travel to attend any conferences, you don't need to go and meet your rector. It's your rector that will come to you again to say, Dr. So can you give us part of your money to travel to attend a conference somewhere? So that is how research is being done, and then you'll be very happy that we are not depending on the management, we are not depending on anybody. It's a project that's giving you a lot of things, and then you are using it to mentor the younger generations. Especially project impact, this is very key. In fact, TETFund is also emphasizing this. What impact will this project lead to after 2 years? Then I give you 45 million. Is there going to be any impact? And then we talk of short-term, immediate impact and long impact. In terms of immediate impact, okay, we've trained about 20 people who have benefited from this project. In terms of long impact, it has reduced unemployment in Nigeria. That is long impact. You've done something, and the immediate is that 20 people have already benefited in terms of job opportunity here and there. But in terms of the long impact, you measure it in terms of this has reduced unemployment in Nigeria. That is long impact. So when you are developing your proposal, think of the expected project impact in terms of long-term impact and short-term impacts within the context of social, economic, and technological benefits, while indicating the direct beneficiaries of the project. Okay, so that is what we are expecting around this area. Then technical competency of the project. I mentioned the other time, let your team be what? Be multidisciplinary. So when we are evaluating this, we want to look at the quality of research leadership. Who is leading the research? Quality of research team, potential for mentoring, and multidisciplinary nature of participation. All this one carries mark. So don't just form your team because you want to put your friend's name to benefit from it. We have a lot of our colleagues that we just put his name and then put the name of maybe junior colleagues that you can control. No, they are not going to contribute anything to the project. The reviewer will evaluate your CV, will evaluate the CV of others. And definitely they will know that no, this team is not really qualified to even do this project. Though the leader is okay, but all of the other members of the team, you are bringing a team from another department that is even not relevant to what we are trying to do because your friend, they will drop you. So it will affect your scoring. So please, when you are trying to set up your project team, please ensure that everybody that belongs to your team, we want to contribute one thing or the other to what we are trying to do. So look at quality of research leadership, quality of research team, potential for mentoring, because TETFund is also emphasizing that we should be able to mentor the younger ones from this project. They are not saying that when you get this grant, you must produce masters and PhD, but some of your students doing MSc and PhD may also benefit from it. But they are not saying that grant, you must use it to produce PhD, MSc, PhD. No, but those that you are mentoring, they should be able to benefit from what you are trying to do. So that's it. So potential for mentoring, you show it. It's okay. This is the PI, this is a member, this is another member, and these are some of the students that will benefit from this project. So once we see that, that's the element of mentoring. Even when you put your junior colleagues, maybe a lecturer 3, and you are a chief lecturer, you are putting a lecturer 3 who's going to also contribute. That is indirectly generation. So features of the NRF budget. Now the budget now is into we have percentages for the budget. The budget you have personnel, which is 20% of what you are requesting for. So if you are requesting for 10 million, 20% of 10 million is for personnel, 25% of the 10 million is for equipment. Then you talk of laboratory consumables, data collection and analysis, travels related to the research activities. International travel will be funded only when, in fact, TETFund is not even funding any international travels on this project. Okay, so you cannot spend more than 5% on travels, because our colleagues in the last few years now, they've built this. Now you are requesting for 35 million naira from TETFund to organize, to do a project, to solve a problem. And saying out of this 35 million, you want to spend about 25 million naira to travel to the US for 6 months to carry out some part of the project. We are saying, do the research locally here. Don't travel anywhere. So, but if you have some partners abroad that want to partner with you, no problem. So far, they can spend their money to do it, no problem. But you cannot use TETFund money to travel. This TETFund money, this grant to travel abroad. To say you want to do one test or the other, and you are spending about 20 million. So, and that's why they limited it to 5%. Because people abuse that aspect. They use majority of the money to travel, and nothing is left to do the research on. So that one should not be more than 5%. Then you talk of report writing, dissemination of results involving reports, validation workshop with stakeholders, and journal publication. This is going to take just 3% of the money. So if you go above all this, they will penalize you, because it's already stated 20% for personnel, 25% for equipment, then 5% for travels, 3% for dissemination, then data collection, laboratory consumables. You can put money in those areas. But for travels, you can't go more than 5%. So please, you need to really be careful when you are preparing your budget. Anyway, I am giving you a template of a budget that we did, that we also assist you. Now, I'm also using this opportunity to share the scoring template of the concept notes with you. Can you see the scoring template? Hello?
Yes, we can see.
You can see the scoring
We can
template.
see. Yes, yes.
So this is like I'm giving you what you do now. At least up to last year, this is the scoring template for the concept note. So, but marking scheme change every year. So, but I'm saying that you can also use one to guide yourself now. So, if you finish your concept note now, you can sit down and score yourself to see whether you can score it over 100. And you can look at the title. How many marks? How many marks for title? 3. How many marks for title?
3.
3 marks.
You can
3
see
marks.
marks.
So you can see it's 3 marks. So like I mentioned the other time, if your title is more than 20 words, the reviewer can say, let me give you 1 or 2. So please stick to the rules and regulation of the concept note. So you can see it, thematic area. If you don't specify it, they will give 0. You know, so there are some areas that you can score cheap marks that will allow your marks to go up. So if you don't specify the thematic area, they will score you 0. If your title is more than 20 words, you can get 3 marks. Okay. Then in terms of background to the research, these are some of the things that you look at: motivation, research gap, how to address the gap, and the justification. That one is 10 marks. Statement of the problem, clarity and the scope, 5. Objective of research, main objective. You see, some colleagues just say the overall objective of this is how to do this, and that's all. How do you achieve the overall objective? You must have specific objective, maybe 3 or 4. So those 4 specific objectives, when you are able to do that, will solve the overall objective. So you must differentiate between the main objective and the specific objective. You can see it. The specific is 6 marks, and the main objective is 4. So if at the end of the day you are writing, you've written your proposal or your concept note, and just say the overall objective of this thing is this, you just score 4 marks. The specific objectives are missing because 0/6 there. So you can say, even if you have a very good concept note, by the time they have your scores together, you may not likely score maybe above the threshold. I don't know what I'm going to use this year, but in the previous years, I think we used 50 marks. Once you score 60 and above, they invite you for full proposal, you know. So, but you know, every year they change the policy. So I don't know what they are going to use for this year. Now, you can see research questions, you see, and you derive the research questions from the specific objectives. You know, if you have about 3 specific objectives, your research questions should not be less, should at least minimum of 3, because each specific objective is indication of 1 research question. So you may have 4 research questions, because it is likely that you have 2 research questions in 1 specific objective. Okay, so but make sure that you also put research questions there. Then there is literary review. I mean, that one is going to be a summary. It's not going to be an elaborate something now, but a summary, because everything you are doing here should not be more than 1,500 words. Then thematic, the theoretical framework. Okay, the theory behind what you are trying to do. Okay, then research methodology in terms of sampling, model, procedure, equipment, data collections. That one carry 15 marks. Expected result, short term and long term. I've already explained this. The immediate result you are expecting in short term. In the long term, what is this project going to do in terms of impact? And I give an example of that. Short term, I mean, 20 people benefited from this research. Then long term, it reduces unemployment in Nigeria. Okay, so you should know the difference between short term and long term. Then innovation, you can see it. What is new in what you are trying to do? And I want to say that there is nothing new again. The only thing is, innovation is about doing old things in a new way. That is innovation. So they want to see what is unique in what you are trying to do. That one is 5 marks. Then your budget too, 5 marks. References, 5 marks. The maximum is 5 marks. I mean, the maximum references you can cite is 5 references, but they must be relevant and maybe the key ones. So when you write your full proposal, you can put in as many references as possible. For the concept notes, you just need maximum of 5 that are really relevant to what you are trying to do. Then you can see research team. You can see it. Composition. So they want to look at the way you mix up the team in terms of junior colleagues, senior colleagues, people from other areas, interdisciplinary, and then gender. Okay, they also encourage gender too. I mean, when you have about seven members of your team, ensure that female is also there, maybe 1 or 2. But don't just put them. They must also, because you have to, when you are writing your full proposal, you must tell us what you contribute to what you are writing. You know, So that won't give you 100 marks. So you can see the breakdown. So when you write your concept notes, I mean, we are lecturers. Now it's like you have a marking scheme. Can you score yourself to know whether this proposal, if you send it to, at least you are sure that you are going to be invited to submit a full proposal. So that's how I'm using this scoring template for us to use. If you go to the NRF website, likely you see it there. When you don't see it there, this is what we've been using, and I've even shared it with a lot of people in the last few years. So it's not that. So you can look at this and use it to guide your concept. But I'm not saying that maybe this year they are going to use this. They may review it, but I'm saying that if you have this one to guide you, I think it is still good for you to do. So basic question to be addressed by the proposed research. So when you are writing your concept, these are the questions you need to really ask, and your proposal need to address. What is the problem to be investigated? Why is it socially and scientifically important to investigate these problems? What objective will be achieved through the research? How will the research process be carried out? What type of results are expected from the research? Which is very key, because TETFund is emphasizing impacting the society. Do a research that will impact the society. So these are the basic questions to be addressed by your proposed research. Now, this is the content of the full proposal. Now, assuming that you have been shortlisted to submit a full proposal. So this is the content of the typical full research proposal. But I must tell you that because you are going to submit everything online, so they define the section for each of these. So what you just need to do is just do cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. For example, now, objective, just go to the objective section from your own system, do cut and paste it there. So it's not that you are going to submit a full proposal in PDF or whatever. There is already a template defined for you. Once you register as PI, you log on to that place, you bring out the template, and then you can do cut and paste to each of these sections. So you have complete video review, statement of research problem, research objectives, expected results and impact, research method, complementary activities, research team and institutions, timetable, and the budget. So this one is there. So what this next section is trying to do is just to explain, give more information with respect to what we are expecting under the title, the name of the research leaders, and so on and so forth. So it's just trying to explain what when you are writing. So you can take your time to read all this when we finish this presentation. So general advice on the executive summary. I told you when you are writing your proposal, the first page advertise you. Okay. So once the first page is not convinced, I mean the reviewer is not convinced with the first page, it may be difficult for that reviewer to go to the other pages and say what is happening there. So, and that's why we are emphasizing that the executive summary should be very, very good. So we are saying be brief, pull the most significant sentences from each key section in the grand narrative, and do a quick cut and paste with reference to the project initiative, problem statements, or statement of need, research goals, measurable objectives, work plan and project durations, impacts on problems, and the mention of the funding requirements. So these are some of the things that will go into your executive summary. Just one page. For TETFund, they are saying maximum is 600 words. So please don't exceed that 600 words, except they are changing the policy now. But as at last year, the maximum you can, for your executive summary, the maximum should be 600 words. And it must contain all this information displayed here. Okay, the same thing with video review. I mean, if you are familiar with video review as researchers, so you can still go through all these ones. I just identify benefits of video review, which you can read at any point in time. Then research problems too. What are those problems you are trying to solve? with research objective, we have general objective and specific objective. As it goes for the concept note, the same thing will be for the full proposal. You must state the general objective first, and then narrow it down to specific objective. You will lose mark. Okay, so please make sure that you have general objective, and then this general objective to fit into specific objectives. And then the objective must be in that order sequence, Okay, so the first specific objective will lead to the second one will lead to the third one, and the third one will lead to the fourth one, so on and so forth. So they must connect to each other. So general advice: present your research goals in efficiency terms and your objective in measurable terms. And I'm sure we are familiar with what we tag SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time management. So any reviewer that will review your paper, we look at your objective. Is it measurable? Okay. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Can you achieve it? Is it realistic? Is it time bound? Once all these items are not there, they will just score you very low mark there, and your mark is reduced. And once you are able to define the overall objective and specific objective, then your methodology is going to be very weak. The same thing with your literature review. So it's very important for you to get it right from when you define the overall objective for the project, down to what we call the specific objective. And that one will now lead to research questions. Okay, so it's very, very important. I've already explained the expected result and impact before, but I think we still need to reemphasize that it's very, very important. Result is very, very important, and the impact to national development. This is what TETFund is looking for. So research method, it's like the methodology we use in our research. Now we've defined about 4 specific objectives. Then under your research method, I want to see the method you want to use to achieve each of these specific objectives. Some of our colleagues just write just about 10 lines, but when a reviewer is trying to review, he will want to see the method you want to use to achieve the first objective, the specific objective, the method you want to use to achieve the second specific objective, and so on and so forth. So once these ones are missing, your mark is going to reduce. And this one carries the chunk of the mark, maybe about 20 marks. Without methodology you want to approach, you want to use. So out of 100, and you are missing 20, so remaining 80. So you have to be very, very careful under your research method. So the same thing with dissemination. I've listed a lot of things that you need to do. In my first presentation, I mentioned a lot of things that you can include under dissemination, which includes seminars, workshops, conferences. How do you want to pass the information with respect to your results to your stakeholders? So you need to also do a lot of detailed information with respect to that. So this one is just trying to give an illustration, an illustrative case, domestic energy project research method. You can see the way this methodology has been captured now. So you may want to use this form of method to also write your own. I just brought this one out to show an example of how you can write it. Then research team and institution. I explained this one too. The purpose of this section is to provide information about the professional expertise of the research, who will undertake the research projects, and the existing research capacity of the institution. So specifically, this section should describe the present and potential capacity of sponsoring institutions in relation to the infrastructure, experience in the field of study, links with other national and regional organizations working in the same field. So now, under your institutions too, you must also tell us what your institution is going to contribute. Now you see some researchers, I need 50 million from TETFund. So what's the contribution for your own school? Nothing. That one also carries some marks. Okay, my institution is going to provide A, B, C, D to support this research. That one carry marks, maybe about 5 marks. So, but if you put that there, you score 0. So please, most of these things that our colleagues just believe that no, they won't look at it. They carry marks. I will show you the scoring under the, I mean, when we get to the next slide. Okay. So this is still under research team and institutions. Then you can see it now, NRF and research team capacity. Clear indication of who the principal information is all about. So please, when you are trying to list your team, let your PI be the number one on the list. Because the moment we see a list, number one is always, the regard will just assume that number one is always the PI. Except you've already indicated that maybe number 6 is the PI. But if you list it that way, the assumption is that number one is always the PI. So make sure that number one is your PI and others are members of your team. Okay. And I've already mentioned what we are looking for under team capacity in terms of quality of research leadership, quality of research team, potential for mentoring, multidisciplinary nature of participation, and few individual joint publication of relevant. Now, because you are talking of multidisciplinary, you want to see whether the team have been working together in the last few years or not by showing evidence of joint publication. Even if not, you also report it and say, well, because of this project, this is the first time this team is coming up. I mean, everybody will understand that okay, this is a unique project. You need people from other fields to achieve your results. So nobody will say, they're going to give you 0 from it. No. But if you've been doing some few things together, show evidence of that. If not, you can say this is a new project, and then this team is just coming up for the first time. So you don't have any problem. Then you just put in some publications that is relevant to the project from the different members of the team. So then timetable and work plan. This one is also very key. You want to do the project for 2 years. What are you doing in the first 3 months, the next 6 months, the next 8 months, and so on and so forth? You say our colleague just write 1 or 2 lines, and that's all. This one carry a lot of marks too, because it guides you to know whether you are really doing it or not. For example, I will show you a timeline. Look at this timeline now. This one is presentable. This is a 12-month project from month 1 to month 12, and then you can clearly see it. So at any point in time, you know whether you are moving or you are not. You are not moving. So this is the best way you can do your timeline. Maybe you use your Gantt chart. Well, if you want to write it in post too, it's okay. But at least to anybody now, you can see this one is presentable. You can easily see it to know that, okay, collection of secondary data is month 4 of the project, So if you are not collecting it month 4, you know that you are not really doing well. So this one will guide you to really monitor the performance of your project. Are we together? Yes. Are we together?
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof.
Okay,
Yes,
so I was going to round up so that we can begin to ask questions. So this is the budget. Budget is another area that you need to really work on. Please, for the budget, maximum you can request is 50 million, except they are changing it this year. I don't know. But if you request for more than 50 million, they will drop it for you. It's a condition. You cannot go for more than 50 million. If you are asking them to give you 70 million, they will disqualify you, your proposal, your full proposal. So please work within the budget. But because people have been making, talking about 50 million is too small. So I think TETFund is also looking at it. Maybe they can jack it up. But if in the advert, they are still saying the maximum you can go is 50 million, please stick to that 50 million. Don't go beyond the 50 million. Immediately you go beyond 50 million, you drop it. Then don't go below 5 million. Because by the time you go below 5 million, they will say this is IBR. I know you know what IBR is all about. Decision-based research. They will just drop it. So what your budget should be between 5 million and 50 million. So anything above that or less than that, they will not even consider your proposal at all. So please, you have to be very careful. And then the basic element of it, materials and supplies. dissemination and indirect costs. I think I've already explained that. But in this presentation, I've already explained what you need to do under each of these items. Personal cost and analysis. Everything we are expecting there is already listed, and the maximum should not be more than 20% of the money you are requesting from TETFund. Okay, then the same thing with equipment. The maximum you are requesting is 25%. Anything above that. The reason why we put percentage there in the last few years is nothing but most of our researchers, they are not reasonable. You are requesting for 45 million from TETFund, and then you are saying you are using about 40 million to buy equipment. So the 5 million cannot even do anything again when you use the whole money to buy equipment, you know. So that's why we are saying, okay, they are taking it to 25%. Let the university also add something, or maybe you have some other institution around you that you can share resources with. So people complain that the 25% is too slow, too small to buy equipment and so on and so forth. But I think TETFund is also looking at that, maybe to jack it up. But as at last year, it was 25%. So please try to look at the new guideline if they have a new guideline to ensure that we didn't go beyond the percentage recommended. So field work cost, this is for people going to fields to collect data, you know. So they didn't put any percentage here, but you must be reasonable too when you are doing that. Dissemination, I've explained this one should not be more than 3%. Okay, so if your proposal is 10 million naira, 3% of 10 million naira is about 300,000 or so. So you can use more than 300,000 for dissemination. That's why they're asking you to look for other collaborators to support you. Indirect costs, well, indirect costs like the university will take 5% of your money. So when you are preparing your budget, build in that 5%. If, for example, you are requesting for 10, if 10 million is what you want to get from TETFund, build in the 5% to it, so that when the money comes to your institution, the institution will remove 5%, and then your 10 million will still remain. The mistake that some of our colleagues will do is that they will not bother to factor in the 5%. So when the money comes to go to the institution, this one will remove 5% of that, and then the money that is left will not be enough to now do the research. So you have to factor in a lot of things, like the administrative charge that is automatic. You also have to, your college needs to remove that 5%, whether you like it or not. Then you want to buy equipment. So if the cost of equipment is maybe 10,000 naira, you have to factor in tax, VAT and tax. Because if you don't factor it in, then by the time you get your money, you go to the market, you buy equipment and this, they will add VAT and tax. Before you know it, what you have on ground will not be enough to buy most of these things. So this budget is very, you need to be very careful when you are preparing the budget, so that they won't give you money that you will not be able to spend to achieve your result. Now, what I did here, just to give you a sample template of how you prepare your budget, is this is a detailed template. You can see we have expected from TETFund, we have this column giving. It's not compulsory for them to give you money, but you can say in kind. Maybe they are going to approve 2 technical staff to do your thing. They are going to provide space. They are going to support you with electricity and so on and so forth. So it's not compulsory for you to. It's not compulsory to be in cash. You may be in kind, but there must be a space where you write it to say institutional support. My college is going to provide the following. Okay, but if your institution is also going to provide you with funds, we need to see that evidence, and then you put it in this column under institution. Then you see others. Maybe you have some other partners that want to collaborate with you. What are the amounts of money they are going to support you with on this project? So that's why we have that column, and then the total. So you can see it, that you can study this budget template, so you can use it to prepare your budget if you are finally shortlisted for the full proposal. So I decided to put this one there because this is where some researchers also have a lot of problems. And this one carries substantial amount of marks, maybe about 15 or 20 marks. You're still going to see it now. So you can see it. It's very detailed budget. You can see it. So this is the way you prepare it. You see a lot of our colleagues just write the budget anyhow, and then they score. Maybe 20 marks, they score by 5 or 20. And then they will be complaining, my budget is not, my proposal is not approved. It will not be approved because of all this minus something. So take your time to do it. Then justifications too. You have to justify each of the items inside your budget. For example, now this is travels. You can see this family wanted to spend 1,075,000 naira on travels. How did you arrive at the 1,075,000 naira? You can see the breakdown. Want to travel to Lagos to meet with stakeholders. Number of team 3 per diem. You use the state or the federal government rate. So during the time we prepared this, it was 16,000 naira per night. So number of nights we are spending in Lagos is 4. Flight tickets, no, we are not using flight tickets, it's by road. We are saying 30,000 naira. Then the total is 228. So we did analysis to convince them to, okay, this guy knows what they are trying to do in terms of travels. And you calculate it, 3% of the money we are looking for is about 1,075,000. So once they see all these things, you don't have any problem with budget. So you must justify each of the items. And that's why I'm putting all this one for you, so that when you prepare a full proposal, you don't have any problem. Are we together? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are together. We are together.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do NRF assessors look out for? See, so these are some of the things we look out for. Relevance. Is it relevant to the objective of TETFund? No. They will throw your proposal out. General mastery of the subject matter. By the time we ask people to come and defend them, there is one that they don't even know anything about that research proposal. So why do I need to waste my money? Identification of research problem, focus on research objective, conceptual framework, overall methodology, research feasibility, possible user linkage, budget justification. You can see that I explained the budget justification up there. This one carries a lot of math. You can't just say you want to spend 10 million on equipment. Justify it. Why do you want to buy that equipment for 10 million? Justify it. Okay. Why do you want to travel to somewhere with 2 million? Justify it. So these are some of the things that we look out for. Then I'm giving you this assessment template for full proposals. You can see it. So when you are writing your full proposal, let this one guide you to. You can see executive summary should not be more than 600 words. And your executive summary carry 4 marks. So if you write it poorly, they will score you 0 there. Then your title and keywords should be apt. Title must be less than 20 marks. 20 words. So that's 1 mark. So you can see it. Introduction carries 3 marks. Your aim and specific objective 6 marks. Statement of the problem 3 marks. Conceptual framework 3 marks. Project goals and impact 5 marks. Literal review 5 marks. Research methodology. You can see that carries about 15 marks into 3 sections: sampling and sample preparation, appropriate procedures and equipment, data analysis and interpretation, 474. Then key performance indicator, 6 marks. Okay. Monitoring and evaluation, 4 marks. Dissemination strategies, MIE strategies, 2 marks. You can see it. And then team composition, 3 marks. Team profile, 3 marks. Research work to date, 3 marks. Previous research grants, 3 marks. Working relationship as a group, 3 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your team compositions carry 15 marks. So you can see that you can easily score 15 marks out of 100 if you can do it properly. So that's why I'm sharing all these things with you, so that when you want to prepare your work, let this marking guide you when you are preparing. So equipment, this is for so you can see them. This is for the institutions now. Okay, available on ground and functioning, accessibility to other facilities within the vicinity, support facilities available. So there. So compliance with the budget. This is the budget. Compliance with budget, give you 4 marks. If you justify the items on the budget, you can see it 8 marks. The overall appropriateness of the proposed budget for the project, 3 marks. Additional sources of funding, 5 marks. So that one will carry about 20 marks. So if you prepare your budget very well, you score 20 marks. If you prepare your team very well, 15 marks. That's already 35 over 100. So you are working on 65, you know. So it's very easy for you to really score like 70. But our people will just on key attitude on some just write something and submit. So that's why I'm sharing this. Because I want your school to also get as many proposals as possible this year. So commitment and approval by the, so if, for example, now, if your institution didn't, if your head of institution didn't sign this document, they will reject your proposal. So your rector must sign the proposal to show that your institution is also interested in this proposal. So you have to be very careful. So major reason why most of the rejected, most of the proposals are rejected. Research scope too broad and unfocused, disconnect between title and content, little originality in research ideas, low value addition provide high research content not novel or not new, poorly written executive summary, you know, I emphasize that, poorly stated research objectives, unsatisfactory inadequate methodology for addressing core research goals, you know. So these are some of the reasons why your proposal failed. So I'm just taking my time to give you all this information. So then a lot of them, first of mundane or not up-to-date data analytical tools in addressing core research content, inadequate or shallow research content of the proposal, outrageous budgeting, determined effort to make budget as close as possible to the maximum advertising on the limit of it. So let me advise you, if the maximum is 50, don't say your budget is 50 million. Yeah, maybe around 47 million 250. But don't say budget is, I mean, maximum is 50, you put 50 there, they will suspect that you don't know what you are doing. Research emphasis too localized to be nationally competitive, probably better funded under TETFund IBR. You know, I told you this too, that you have to be very careful. I mean, you have researchers, they look at it that this proposal cannot be more than 2 million. Why are you bringing it here? Just throw it away. So these are some of the things they look for. So now, for me now to conclude, now when you have grant to yourself, it's like you have power, okay? You can use it to develop infrastructure in your university. You can use it to create additional programs in your university or your college. It's possible for you to internalize programs. More cutting-edge research will be carried out. More equipment and laboratories will be developed. Capacity building, you train a lot of your staff. Then you can even bring out a lot of spin-off companies, and then you can also publish in high impact journals. So these are some of the things that are really affected our own environment here. We've used a lot of grants, especially TETFund grant, to develop our infrastructure. We've used it to create additional programs. In fact, most of our programs are now accredited internationally. Then we are now doing a lot of cutting-edge research. We have a lot of equipment and laboratories, and then we develop a lot of our staff in terms of capacity building. Then we have about 3 or 4 spin-off companies, even coming from each of these TETFund grants that we got. And then we are also able to publish in high impact journals, focus index, and so on and so forth. So this is just our story of you can see a lot of TETFund grants that we also applied for and we got, apart from other grants that we got from other people. And these are some of the environment I've created with a lot of grants. Even when you come here, you see a lot of laboratories set up by TETFund through this TETFund grant. So these are just the environments that we set up using different grants and so on and so on. So these are our students working in one project or the other. And this is where I'm sitting down here, and we have a center where we can broadcast our lecture straight away. So and that's where I'm doing this presentation now. So these are some of our spin-off companies. While you develop your own proposal, it can lead to spin-off company. And then you are very lucky, you are very close to people in Lagos. So many companies in Lagos, work with them, get a product out of it, pull all these students together to form a company, and then they become your spin-off companies, and then you can even create a Silicon Valley in YABATECH there to do a lot of things. So these are some of our spin-off companies. We are building each of the TETFund grants that we have now. Each of them must produce a product, and each product is going to have a spin-off company. That spin-off company will lead to entrepreneurship. and skill development. So now we have about 6 of them. So each of these one will bring us the products. So these are some of the products that we developed on this map here. This is another group. Yeah, there's so many of them. If you come, you will see them. I just smile here. Then the question I want to say now is, can our researchers survive without being innovative? So that's the question I want to ask you now, YABATECH. Are you ready or getting ready? What is your vision for the next 10 years? So what do you think?
Yeah.
Where are you here? Can you see the bike, the diagram?
Yes.
And so where do you want to belong?
On the bike.
On the bike.
On the bike.
So
You
that
want
is
to be on the
innovation.
bike.
And so because YABATECH, you say, great YABATECH, you are great. But
Yes, so
somebody is not making noise, but it's very innovative. So through innovativeness now is using bike. So there's no way this guy that you say is very powerful and great YABATECH, we are great, we are this. You are great, but you don't have the innovation, you can't do anything. So and that's why you have to be more creative. I'm saying that you may be great, but if the innovation is not there, you can't do anything. You can see this guy on the bike now, very innovative. So it's not saying it's great, but it's innovative. So the guy will move. So please let us be innovative in our approach to things. Then I'm saying there's no choice. The world is moving fast, with or without you. So even if you like, YABATECH, you stay there. People will move. You know, that's my own preaching. So in
You are
conclusion,
very innovative, sir.
I
Yes,
want to see more. I want to see more of this. So,
Yes,
we are moving
we are very,
fast.
very.
so I want to see more of this. So in conclusion, let me just conclude now, so that because it's already 12. In conclusion, I want to say information and communication, these are very key. You need accurate information, timely information, complete data for the planning, performance monitoring, and final assessment of the research. That's the information. You need information with respect to all this. Then you need to communicate too. That communication must be clear, must be open, and timely sharing of information with appropriate individuals and groups through the proposal writing period. And number 3 is commitment. Team members, personal commitments, personal promises to commitment. All these things we are discussing is money. If you are not committed, there's nothing will happen. So commitment is also very key. So information, communication, and commitment, these are the 3 things you need to get everything done. So on this note, I think I want to really thank you and rest my case. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
So much.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate
Well
you.
done.
Wow. We appreciate you, sir. This is,
Thank you for not. I normally prefer to be physically with 2 people, but nature of my job didn't allow me to travel just anyhow
we
now.
will
So,
invite you to Lagos, sir. Anytime you are in Lagos.
I want to really meet with 2 people and then do a physical presentation. All these online presentations, I do normally enjoy it, but at least it's good for me that I've passed some information across to you. You can keep the slides, and then I'm also ready to work with you people to read your proposals and also to give you advice. I've been doing it for a lot of institutions all
We will
over.
definitely send you some.
We'll
send you some. Thank you so much, Prof. We have questions. We have a lot of, I see some people have been posting some questions.
Okay, sir.
Online.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I have questions too. And well, thank you, Paul, for emphasizing that we need to work with people in the industry. So I think that is key. And another major point I noted from your presentation is priority areas of the research must be of national development. Then I want to ask Prof, is it important and necessary to involve researchers from at least the 6 geopolitical zone of Nigeria? Then, yes, then
we have some younger colleagues who have ideas, who have very good proposals, but the challenge is that they are not eligible to be principal investigators. Now, should they just bring anybody, who is not well familiar with that research, because during physical defense it may be a problem if the senior colleague they are inviting as PI will not be able to defend this. I want you to speak to this because we have some young colleagues who have great ideas. Then what is the scoring template for physical defense? Because some of our colleagues made the physical defense, but were not eventually selected. Those on the panel for the physical defense, what are they actually looking out for? Apart from the budget constraints that TETFund said is the challenge. So, Prof, can you answer some of those questions?
Okay, thank you so much.
When it got to Lagos,
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, then your first question is focusing on having partners from other institutions. In fact,
yes,
TETFund we want that. For example, now we have a project we are doing under TETFund now. We have some researchers from UI, you know, because we are talking of institutional collaboration in international collaboration. So you can, but you have to ensure that is going to contribute to that research, not just bringing my friend from maybe you can even collaborate with OAU or with any other institution. Nothing stopping from doing that. You can do that. Okay, your team can go beyond your institution and then get other institutions to work with. So from a department, from one department to another department in your institution, and then you can get somebody from outside the institution, even from the industry, to be part of what you are doing. So far, they are going to contribute because by the time you get to the defense stage, they'll be asking you, what is the contribution of this guy from the industry? What is the contribution of this guy from OAU? What is the contribution of this guy from and so on and so forth. So in fact, they even ask you, so do you mean that you don't have somebody with that same experience in your institution? And that's why you are giving somebody from outside. So, but it's allowed. That's what we call multidisciplinary, multidisciplinary. So that one is allowed. You are free to do that. But you must convince the reviewer that they are going to contribute to that. Now, the second question, you talk of your young colleagues. You know, when you say young colleagues, they should have people mentoring them now. For example, in my own university now, I have some younger colleagues that me I'm mentoring. And I have people below me assisting me to mentor those guys. So when we are writing any proposal, I will be the PI. They are the one to be the members of the team. So when we go for presentation, I'll just do a brief presentation of the something, maybe page, and then I will ask the guy to continue with the presentation. So when you are going for defense in Abuja, you don't go alone with the PI. They allow you to bring in 1 or 2 people to join your team. So that when you are presenting, you can divide your presentation into like 3 sessions. And you tell them you are the PI of this project, and you are going to introduce something, and then you ask your other colleagues to continue. So that's the way you do it. But you see, when you just say younger ones, you know, when younger ones, you will need to mentor them. They have those good ideas, but to really face the real world is the problem. So you still need to get somebody, but you have to be very careful. When you are bringing in the senior colleague you are bringing must be trustworthy.
Not eligible.
Because we experienced a lot of that about 4 years ago with PI. So eventually, when the money came to the institution, I won't mention the institution. When the money got to the institution, the man said, I was the one that went to during that period, they don't defend. So my name is I'm the PI of the project. So the man didn't allow the guy to really do anything. He started spending the money. So the guy just wrote a letter to TETFund, and they will do the project, the proposal, the money. So what I'm saying now is, those younger ones should be attached to some senior colleagues in your school. And then, if they are younger, they have some senior colleagues now. So the senior colleagues will be the one to lead. But when they get to the presentation, the senior colleague will just do a kind of introduction and then allow the younger one to do the presentation. That's the way to do it. And I've seen a lot of people like that. I mean, when they come for defense. So then for the third one, that's the second one. The third one is the one that you said, what are they actually looking for?
Yes.
So, for the defense, initially I told you, we don't do physical defense before. Once your proposal pass the threshold, they will look at the available fund on ground, and on the basis of that, it's like jam score. Yes, if you score 200 and above, you are qualified. OAU is not compulsory for OAU to give you admission. They will now draw a kind of cutoff to say, okay, though you score 200, though, so you are qualified to come to OAU. However, because you don't have space for engineering, our cutoff is 230. So though you score 200, which is the pass mark, but because you don't have space, then we cannot give you admission because you didn't score up to 230. The same thing is happening with TETFund. By the time they invite you for the defense, what they want to look at is put the face of the PI and the members of the team on the proposal. Now, by the time they ask, we disqualify a lot of people now, a lot of researchers, because when they come, they couldn't defend the proposal. You now be wondering, are you sure you are the one that developed this proposal, or maybe somebody assisted you to do it? Number one. Number two, they will not be able to defend the budget. Simple questions. Maybe they are not coordinated, I don't know. But you see, the moment you are invited to come and defend your proposal in Abuja, honestly, it's like 85% sure that you are going to get it. But by the time you get there and then they are asking you questions, and then you refuse to really convince them, they will just throw you out. But in the last few years now, I'm not too sure. Maybe my group, maybe we just disqualify about two people, and the reason being that they couldn't defend the proposal. So you just wonder, are you sure they are the one that developed the proposal? I'm sorry to say, some of our colleagues, they pay money for people to write proposal for them. So that's what we discovered. That's why we introduced the physical defense. Come and defend what you've written down. So what I'll just say is that by this time around, if your team is being invited to defend in Abuja, what you need to do is try to do a kind of rehearsal. What are they asking them? Please summarize your proposal. Then defend your budget. That's all. It's not, they are not even scoring anything again. They are not scoring. They are not scoring you any mark again. They just ask you, present your proposal. What is your proposal all about? Then they will argue it, they will look at it, and then let me tell you another story, is that most of those people that they even invited to write a full proposal, some of them are not even qualified to get to that stage. I'm just giving you the information, just give it to get to that stage. So by the time they now get, for example, now somebody is saying that he's writing something on under entrepreneurship and wealth creation, and then you are saying that I'm going to set up a training center where I'll be training students. Is that research? It's not research. So automatically they just send you back. So what I'm just saying is that before you go for the final defense, it is also good for you to do a kind of rehearsal. They will just ask you to summarize what is your project all about, what is the nature of your project, what are your team members, the budget. These are the questions they ask you now. They are not even scoring you anything. It's either you pass or you fail. So that's just it. So they don't use any big criteria to either say you pass or you fail. The only thing out for it, but by the time they now summarize it and say that they have 10 billion naira, no, let's say 1 billion naira to share, and then you have about 50 proposals that qualified, they will sum it up. So by the time they by the time they sum it up in terms of the scoring, the first scoring, they sum it up in terms of the first scoring. So if the 1 billion will just cover 1 to 7, then the other 3 will be dropped. And they will tell you it is also good, but the fund is not available. So that is what is happening. But I'll just say that, I'll just emphasize that anytime they are going, they must master what they are going there to defend. Because those people they are going to face, they are experts in their field. They are experts in their field. So that's just what I want to say about that.
Thank you, Prof. We have another question here before we move to online. There are so many questions in the chat box. Dr. Ashiro.
Okay. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
We want to appreciate you greatly for the impartive lecture you are giving us today. I can assure you, in YABATECH, we have a lot of innovative projects. Don't forget we are polytechnics. We come up with different products. However, sir, I want to ask, the physical defense in Abu, we expected actually giving us the feedback, whether you pass or your research is dropped, nothing from them whatsoever. I don't know why that is happening, sir. You
Well,
my question.
So you see the committee, what the committee normally will do is that after the defense, they will write their own reports and then send the report to the secretariat. And the secretariat will present that report to the board of trustees. So it is the responsibility of the secretariat to communicate. For example, now once the committee submit their report, that's the end of their own business. It's the secretariat that will generate letter to inform you formally that the board of trustees already approved that your proposal be funded to the tune of so. So if you go for with maybe 20 million, by the time you get to defense, they can cut it down to like maybe that. We've done it for so many people. Now some people will go to the defense. Let me give you an instance. They will go to the defense and we want to buy 10 computers. Then the question will now ask me, why are you buying 10 computers? You want to share those computers among your members. And that is not the reason why you have to buy 10 computers. The computer is not purchased to be shared among your members. So the question is, okay, if we ask you to buy 2 computers, will you be able to achieve the same result? You'll say yes. So what we'll do is remove the 8 out of the 10. So that's how your people will come with 25 million naira budget, and then eventually we can cut it down to 8 million. Because they couldn't defend the budget. So if some people will not be able to even defend it, so they'll just say, this man is not ready to do it. It's better we just have this man to do. So I quite agree with you that there should be a feedback, but that is not the work of the committee. The committee is just to say, okay, we've already interviewed 25 researchers, and out of 25, 24 succeeded, and this is the amount for each of them, period. And then they will send the report to the secretariat. Secretariat will give it to the ES will take it to the board of trustees, they will approve, and then the secretariat will write formally to individual, to the rector or the vice chancellor of each university, distributing the letter. I quite agree with you that there should be a feedback why the proposal was not considered finally after the defense. But I want to tell you that even when we write our report, we normally put the reason why we drop the candidate in our report and submit it. But it's not the duty of the committee to be doing that. It's the duty of the TETFund to be doing that. And I think we can take this one up with them. So your comment is noted in that, and I think I can communicate that one to the unit that is coordinating that they need to also write formally to those that were invited, but their proposal were dropped because of this reason or the other. But I'm saying that the majority of us, when we get there, I mean, I was there now for more than 14 years. you see our police, they won't be able to defend some of the things that they put down that they want to do. So that's the challenge. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we still have two more.
Okay.
Thank you very much for this innovative grants. I sincerely appreciate it. Actually, I have about 2 questions. You are able to put the lights when you are talking about the submission of the final proposal, but I'm going back to the concept note. Is it possible, or is it compulsory any part of the team should have published a work on that area?
Yeah. No, it's, you see, that's what I'm saying now. You know, for your concept note is just a summary of the full proposal. So when you want to, you know, when you write your full proposal, it's likely that you have about, let's say, 90 references, you know. But by the time you summarize it to like 1,500 words, it is now there for you to pick those relevant literature. Even if the one you generally publish somebody else is the one you feel is relevant, pick just 5 relevant ones to your concept note and submit. So if you feel that the one you publish generally with your colleague is also relevant, why not? In fact, that will show that you have been working in that area. So what we are saying is just bring out 5 key ones that you know they are key to what you are doing. But by the time you write your full proposal, then you can blow up the literature review. So, but for the concept, you just bring out those 5 key ones. So if one of the 5 you want to mention is the one that you just may develop with your colleague, why not put it there now? Nobody will say it's wrong, but it must be relevant to what we are talking about.
Okay, thank you, Prof. We have so many questions online in the chat box. I don't know if we will just take them.
I know.
Do I need to?
Okay.
Somebody is asking, he says our concept note was accepted but failed at the full proposal stage. What will be the likely costs of course? And the concept note is resubmitted again this year. What are the chances that it will be accepted again?
Well, you know, I told you that concept, you see, when you say top of concept, number 1, 2 stages to it. Before we even review the concept, what we normally do, for example, they'll give me about, let's say, 100 concept notes to review. Number 1, what I first of all do is, I first of all look at those with number of words about 1,500. I'll just remove those ones. I won't not even read it at all. That one is rejected. It's already rejected. So number 1, that staff should go and look at the concept note again. What is the number of words? Is he up to, is he more than 1,500 words? If it's yes, nobody is going to review. That is automatic rejection. Then number 2 is look at the concept note again and look at what I've presented and go through your concept note again and see where you have issues. Then you can correct it. For example, now I told you when you are composing your team, go and look at your team composition. Some people just say PI, well, so the remaining 4 people or 4 members of the team, they are just no officer that don't have any relevance to the project. So that one will score you a very low mark. Look at your title 2. You know, if your title is more than 20 words, it will affect you. Look at it. Did you include your overall objective? Did you include specific objective? I will just advise you. The marking scheme I gave you on that concept note, go and print it out. Then go and bring out your concept note and score yourself and see whether you are qualified or not. That's the only way. Except I see the concept note and I read it through myself and tell you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Another question is, okay, are the mentees supposed to be listed as research team members? And should the research mentees be accounted for under personnel costs?
Yes, when you want to list your research team, you have the PI, you have other members, then those mentees, you put their name and say mentees. You understand now? You so mentees. Rather than saying member, they are mentees. Now, under the allowances, you only pay the PI and the members of the team. So the mentees, they are going to benefit under field work. You understand what I'm saying now? So you know, mentee, they are just like maybe some of the children working for you on the project. So you are sending them to the field to collect data, you are sending them to do simulation, you are sending them to develop software, you are asking them to do something. So the money you are going to pay them will be under field work that is data collection. There is money for data collection and some other stuff like that. But the actual money will be paid to the PI and then the team members. Then be careful when you want to pay. The PI is the owner of the project, is the leader of the project. So the PI is going to be there for the 2 years. But the members, you see, the mistake some of you normally will do is that you now say, okay, you are giving them maybe 40,000 in a month for 2 years. Meanwhile, a member will not contribute more than 3 months. So you can see the technique there. So people will ask you, this member, this man, this Professor Labaja, what is going to be his contribution? By the time you say he's going to contribute just 3 months, and then you are now paying him every month for 2 years. So they will cut your money. You can see where they normally cut money now. So justification, anything you do, justification. So the mentees, you can pay them from field work and other things. But the members of the team and the PI, they are going to take money from the, what do you call it now? The personnel cost. And then for your information, the personnel cost, you know, is the 20% of the total money you are requesting for. Now, as a PI, you can take more than 60% of the 20%. Then the remaining 40% of the 20%. Then the remaining 60% will be shared among the members of the team according to their contribution. Because we discovered that a PI can also take all the money to himself and he refuse to pay the other members of the team, especially the junior ones that he can control. You know, so that's why TETFund, okay, from the 20%, you can take 40% of the 20%, and then the remaining 60% will be shared among other members of the team. So that's the way you do it. The mentees, they have to take money from data analysis, the money you put on data analysis, the simulation, data collection, and so on and so forth. But the members will take money from personnel. Okay, and then you list those mentees too under the project team, because you know, if you see the marking scheme, there is mentee here, 2 mentees, we give you mark. We have somebody from the industry, give you mark. Okay, somebody from so much in this line, so that's the way we do it.
Okay, Prof, another question is, can a research team measure 2 thematic areas in their proposal?
Can what?
Can a research team measure 2 thematic areas in their proposal?
It's one thematic area now. See, when you submit, when you submit
1 thematic area per proposal.
It's 1 thematic per proposal. You can put 2 thematic areas, you will confuse the reviewer and they won't know where to send your proposal. You know, when you submit online, they will have asked you which thematic area you put in there. So you can submit, except maybe you have another proposal for that thematic. You can't just say this proposal in 2 thematic areas. No. So it's 1 thematic area that you submit your proposal. So, but if you now have, you can submit 2 proposals, but you cannot be PI in 2 proposals. You understand now? What you can do is, if you have 2 thematic areas, you can say yourself with the PI in 1, and then pick your colleague to be PI in the other one, and then you be a member in the other one. You understand what I'm saying now? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes.
Yes, yes.
So, but don't be, once you are a PI in one project, you can't be PI in another one. That one will not allow that, they will disqualify you. So even if you are the key member of that team, what you can do is look for another person that is very good as PI, and then you can be a member in the other team. So that's the way to do it. But you cannot be PI in two projects you are submitting together. No. And then you cannot apply a topic cannot go into two thematic areas. No.
All right.
It's
Okay,
one
sir.
thematic area.
Okay, sir. Another question is, thank you, sir. My contribution or observation on issues of research grants in this part of the world is, at what point can research in management humanity be commercialized and attract attention? That's
Can you come again?
this part of the world is, at what point can research in management humanity be commercialized and attract attention? So I don't understand that.
Research in humanities.
Management humanity be commercialized and attract attention needed. Maybe because the emphasis is on STEM, I don't know.
No. You see, that's why that is where we are making a big mistake in this country. And that is why TETFund is now emphasizing multidisciplinary research. Okay. Now we are doing something different now, we call it digital humanities. So we are working with people in Faculty of Arts. How can we come up with innovative ideas, products that can be commercialized? We have people working with us from history department with ICT. So research is more than doing solo research now. So if you want innovative product that can be commercialized, you must look for multidisciplinary research to do it. But if you are doing it the way we are doing it before, we can't move anywhere. So we've already changed our own focus. Now we are doing multidisciplinary, and we are getting a lot of research product that is coming out that can be commercialized within our own. So my advice is that is now the right time for us to do that now, where we have to go beyond our discipline and then collaborate with people from other disciplines. For example, like I said now, my faculty now is collaborating with some departments in the Faculty of Art, where we are talking of digital humanities. So developing a lot of products around what they are trying to do, and people are gaining this research is gaining attention to many researchers in the world. So I've just advised that multidisciplinary we have that kind of research. But if you are going on solo something, you just stay in one corner there, and then you solve.
Okay, sir. Another question is, when is the awardee of NRF qualified to lead another NRF?
That is when when you are done with the one you are giving, and then when they give you letter of award now, they will first of all give you 60% of the money. Then the team will come after 1 year to evaluate what you've done. So if you do it very well, recommend that you give you another 30%. So after 30% now, that is what you call the close up, and they will release your 10%. Once you will send your report that you've already closed up this project, then you are free to apply for another. So, but if you are doing one now as PI, you are not qualified to apply for another one, because they want you to close up what you are doing before you apply for another one. So that's the way to it. However, you can be a member of another team, but you cannot be a PI. Can you get it?
On behalf of
Can you get it?
Yes, Prof. You want to answer? Yes. Okay, we have one more person here. Dr. William.
Prof, thank you so much. My question is on the profile of the team. for either the NRF or the IPI. Now, in the sample you gave us, I could see one from US and even other universities in Nigeria. Now, are you saying that as I'm in statistics department in YABATECH, and what I'm working on could involve other researchers in engineering, in art, or other departments within the school, that it will not fly, that except I should go outside at least to other schools, and that could be what will attract approval. Must I, if all the researchers are domiciled in YABATECH, but from different departments, would that still be enough, or what is obtainable or approvable is connecting other schools in Nigeria or outside Nigeria?
No, as I said, if you have all the researchers within your college, within YABATECH, it's good. It's good. But if you still want to collaborate with people from outside, why not? What we are saying is it should be multidisciplinary. For example, in OAU now, we have the research we are doing now. We have some lecturer from statistics department working with us. We have some lecturer from Faculty of Physical Sciences working with us. We have some lecturers from Faculty of Social Sciences working with us. We have somebody from mechanical engineering working with us. So we have 5 or 6 departments working with us in computer science to come up with that product. So that is multidisciplinary. So you are free to pick your collaborators, maybe within your college, like you mentioned. But in a situation whereby you don't have that expertise in your college, and you know the expertise is in another college, outside your college, why not invite that person? So that's what I'm saying. So your team may be within your college from different departments, so far they are contributing to solve that problem. You may want to expand your team beyond your college, bringing people from outside your college, from other universities, from other colleges to your school to be part of that. But the project still remain in your school. Even if you leave that school as a PI, you can't take that project away. The next thing is the management just writes the TETFund to say the PI is no longer here. So we are now appointing this person to be the PI, maybe another member of the team. So please, you can set up your team from different departments in your college. So far, all of them will contribute to solve the problem. No problem at all. And you can look beyond your school. That's what I'm saying. So it must be multidisciplinary. I hope that one is clear.
Yes, sir. We have one more.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Prof, for this thought-provoking presentation. Still on that theme, I equally want to know if, especially on gender formation,
Yeah.
How many female or altogether the team that is actually acceptable for to form a team, the number and the gender. So that is my own question.
Oh, okay. Well, it depends on the problem that's solving. You may have a team of 5. You may have a team of 4. You may have a team of 7. For example, look at people at sciences. When they are solving a problem, they may have a team of 25. Because they will say that this one must contribute, this one must contribute. It depends on you and the problem you are solving. TETFund doesn't say the limit is 20 members or 10 members. But they will look at your team and then they will look at individuals. Say, are you sure this one is relevant? This one is not relevant. Drop this one. They can even suggest to you that this one will not be relevant to your research. Why can't you look for member in another department? We will specify that. you know. So it's not being specific in terms of number, even in terms of gender. So, but for me, most of the things I've been doing in the last how many years now, if it is this, not institutional research now, if it is book research, we are not more than 6 in that group. Then maybe 2 students as that we are going to mentor. And then maybe in terms of gender, you can put 1 or 2. But when you are putting your gender, make sure that they are contributing, not just say because you want to be gender sensitive, you just force on people to come and do it. No, because they will ask this female member of your team that is from sociology, what is her contribution? You know, so if you cannot defend our contribution, you will remove. So summary is that TETFund doesn't give any limit. It's you as peer that determines the scope of your research and the number of people you want to be in your team, including gender. Even if gender is not there, so we now go and manufacture it. If, for example, you don't have anybody, a female, to be part of it, what we are just saying is that we are encouraging you to also encourage the female ones to be part of what you are trying to do. So, but there's no limit to the number. So it's you that determines what you are trying to solve and who are those people that will help you to solve the problem apart from you. So there's no limit. But you have to be very careful. When you are saying you are putting 10 people in your team or 15 people in your team, on how much? 35 million naira. Don't forget that the personal enrollment there, you are going to share with 15 people. You understand now? So I mean, it's going to affect your personal costs and some other stuff like that in terms of what to take home every month as a peer. So I would just suggest that when you are looking at the member of your team, look at those people that are relevant that will contribute to it. So there's no limit to number, but you have to be very careful in terms of people you select. No limit.
Thank you, Prof. Somebody is asking, I missed that question, that private universities, are they eligible for the NRF?
Who, what?
Private university.
Private institutions, private universities.
Private university is not eligible to apply. However, what we advise them to do is that even if they have a good idea, they can even work with your college. Okay? So they pick somebody from your college as PI, and they cannot be member of the team. You understand? But TETFund doesn't give NRF research grant to private institutions. So the way we can do it is, if they have that good idea. Now, for example, now in OAU now, one of our colleagues is working with Elisa University now. So what they did, it was put as the PI. You understand, of that project. So his name is sabbatical in that place, but the staff of OAU. So the project is like in OAU, but it's using me to mentor those people in that place. Because they are the one that brought in the idea. So that's the way they can benefit. But for them to apply as PI, in fact, you will not even see, when you log on to the TETFund site where you want to register, you won't see your institution there. You won't see any of the private university in that template. The only university you see there is state university, federal universities, and then institutions of higher learning that are not private. So there's no way you can apply. But that's the way people have been doing it. You collaborate. For example, now if you have a private institution with a very good idea, so they can collaborate with you. So you will now be the PI, and then you'll be member of that team. Then you benefit.
Thank you, Prof. And thank you for being patient with us to respond to all the questions. So I want Dr. Ashiru to just thank you on behalf of all the participants both online and on site.
I'm coming.
Well, sir, on behalf of the management of Yaba College of Technology and the participants of today's workshop, we want to sincerely appreciate you, and I must confess that we benefited from your wealth of experience, which has really improved us to be on a better position to get this NRF. We've been getting it, but this year we're going to have improvement greatly. We appreciate you, sir, and we're looking forward to have you here physically to look at grant awarding research and you throw more lights generally beyond NRF. I know you are a good English, and our director is capable. She will know how to get you and come over here. Thank you very much, sir. God will continue to increase your horizon and bless you more in knowledge. Thank you so much.
So
Thank you so much. As I said, I will work with your director and get a convenient time that will be in Lagos so that we can also meet one-on-one and give you some presentations. Because you see, I believe, you see my things. If you're able to get very solid grants, honestly, you will not want to leave the academic environment. Because when you have the grants, you can do a lot of things virtually everything. I don't need to go and meet my VC and say, I want to travel to UK for any conference. The grant we have now, we have enough money to travel anywhere in the world. I have enough money to publish my articles in high impact journals. I have money to also support some of the younger ones coming. And that's what we call mentorship. So if you have all those ones, then we have money to develop a lot of our infrastructure. If you come to AU now, we have a lot of laboratories that are setting up here. Part of it is what we have at the town, so, and we also, and we come to, when I come to YABATECH, we discuss more, we look beyond TETFund. Let's also look at other international funding agencies. I know that your institution also benefited from this TETFund Center of Excellence in, is it your school? So,
yes,
yeah, yeah. I think I met them in Abuja about 2-3 years ago. So, but that was TETFund. Let's look for other big grants that can also set up a lot of things in the school, because I know you are very good in innovation. So, most of these funding agencies are looking for institutions with good innovation that can develop products that can commercialize. Think of having just 1 or 2 products that will generate minimum of 2 billion to your college every year. Do you need to be running to the very well to start looking for money? No. So I think that is the way we need to go now, and that is what I'm looking for in Ife now. If I can get those 2 products, my problem is solved. Just sit down in one corner, move out anywhere again. Then we continue to give scholarship to students as well as people. That's how those people develop in that way. So I'm ready to work with you, and anytime I will give my free time to your director, and then we can fix a one-on-one interaction beyond that for
a whole day interaction with you, Prof.
The whole day now, no problem. When I come to Lagos, I will go, I have to stay.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, thank you, sir. So all those online, can you just
So I
call on
want
your
to thank you so much. I want to thank the rector for the approval given to me to deliver this lecture, and also thank the coordinator who has been running after me in the last 1-2 weeks, and also to apologize for not taking the lecture on Wednesday. So I want to really thank you for the audience given to me. God bless you.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much, everyone.